We told you exclusively first that Universal were going to do this, that we were going to get a new Knight Rider, but so much more. Knight Rider, Airwolf, and even the $6 billion man in a multiverse of madness. The first step of this project has now been announced. It's official. Let's get into it on the Tachyon Pulse.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
We've done this a few times now between scitrek and the Tachyon Pulse, so we've been able to tell you that these things are happening really early on. Now, because of the sources we get to speak to, a lot of those projects then don't happen for ages, and that's true again in this case. But we found out first that Universal were looking at this. First of all, I can tell you what's actually been announced. The producers of Cobra Jai have took over a Knight Rider movie. I can give you a few details on what they're actually planning that hasn't been released yet, but I'll come back to that in a minute. What is the story that we actually dropped 18 months or so ago? Well, we were told that during the writer strikes and the director strikes, a couple of relatively low-down executives that were pitching a few different ideas around did pitch this idea of bringing back Knight Rider, the $6 billion man, and Airwolf. If they don't use the Airwolf theme tune, then there's something very wrong with these people. The idea was to start with a television series of all three of these different things and then bring them together potentially for a movie. Now, what I'm being told, because I had kind of forgotten about this project a little bit, I'll be honest, but I went back to the original source that told me about this, and they've said that, yeah, over the last 6 months or so, this has changed. So about a year ago, they approached the producers of Cobra Jai. Cobra Jai was still in production at that point, but these producers expressed an interest. As soon as Cobra Jai was done and actually released, so around 6 months ago, they actually started working on the project. It was them that looked at saying, look, we think we should start with a movie here. I'm being told that will not be a cinematic movie, or not. That's not the plan at the moment, at least. It will actually be one of the first movies to be released on the new Netflix deal. Universal have a deal now with Netflix for all of their international rights and a limited amount, even in the United States, for all of Universal's projects moving forwards from that point. At the moment, they have a sort of a half deal with Amazon, but that deal's coming to an end. So, what the plan will be for this to be a straight-to-streaming movie. It'll appear on Peacock in the United States and then on Netflix. This film probably won't be ready until early 2027. Now, there's no casting been done. They are looking at cars, but we'll come back to that in a minute because for me, that's the most important thing. But the idea is for this to be a straight-to-stream movie, and if it does well, they will hopefully spin off into a 10-episode season, which will include Knight Rider, and I'm told may include the $6 billion man. There will then be some sort of Airwolf project, and this will build up towards another movie that will bring them all together. I am already told roughly what the idea for the storyline is. It will be along the AI route. That actually the technology for Knight Rider will be the same technology that's basically in the $6 billion man. That'll be a bit different, obviously, but mostly Airwolf. So Airwolf and KITT will share very similar technology. They will both be heavily in the AI world. Now, AI is very, very relevant at the moment. So this project actually kind of makes sense, and I think they can actually do something really, really interesting with this, because they can latch it down in more of a reality than previous sort of AI movies, etc. have been able to do, because now the technology is everywhere and it's, really infiltrating every aspect of our lives, even though we don't necessarily always realize it. So, an AI storyline, there'll be some sort of AI villain, etc., and, KITT and Airwolf and the $6 billion man will be fighting against it. I see this as really sort of as a Marvel type of thing. Good Marvel, not recent Marvel. Where they will start relatively slowly, hopefully, and they will introduce the different elements of this over a little bit of time in 2 or 3 different projects, and then eventually bring them all together in a streaming movie that I would most definitely watch. I grew up in the 80s. Knight Rider was my favourite thing, followed closely by Airwolf. I didn't buy this by mistake. But actually, I can never quite figure out how to get the lights to work, but they do. You have to press it somewhere. There we go. That's got to be in the new car, by the way. I used to watch Airwolf, though, on a Saturday morning. Overly excited. Get out my Lego and build an Airwolf. That was pretty much my tradition for years when I was a kid. And I'm still into the Lego, as you can tell. So, yeah, I'm quite excited about this project. But what car are they going to use? Obviously, the old Pontiac Firebird was a classic. They're going to have to use an electric car. It's going to be an electric car. I know some of you guys are going to go, it's got to be American Muscle, surely. It's going to be an electric car. I'm not even sure that if this was supposed to be electric. I don't ever remember him going to the pump and filling it up. For me, though, I don't think it'll be battery. I think what they're going to have to do is do something that's a little bit into the future, based in some sort of reality, but still futuristic. I'm thinking some sort of like fuel cell, hydrogen maybe, or something like that, or maybe even some sort of, I don't know, fusion reactor or something. Something that's not quite existing now, but in the future could be. There are a couple of cars out there that they could look at. I'm going to tell you two, and then I'm going to tell you the two cars they're actually looking at, and I've got one that's a distinct favourite. But I'm going to also tell you that there's a little bit of a reality behind which car they pick, and it's not just which one they think is the prettiest. But Chrysler have got a new EV concept, and I actually quite like the idea of using a car that's a concept car, because it would be different, it would be unusual, it would be a car that's never actually appeared on the roads before. Their EV concept is called the Halcyon. I'm told that a version of this will actually be sold at some point in the next 2 years. Here's a picture of it. Bing! I could see this working. But for me, the car's got to have the red light, and it's got to be a front end that will suit that. I don't see that with the Halcyon. This is also very much a sports car, and it will stand out a little bit. Lincoln are doing the L100 concept car. The front end looks amazing. Again, picture. Boom! But at the back end doesn't look great, and it's pretty much in a bit of an SUV, which I don't think KITT should be. The two cars they're actually looking at, though, is the Tesla Roadster that comes out next year, and the Dodge Charger EV, which is coming out at some point in the next year to 18 months as well. The Dodge Charger EV it looks very much like just a futuristic existing Dodge. And the Tesla kind of looks like it's a sporty, nice Tesla. To be fair, it looks pretty good. Both of these cars look amazing in black, and yeah, I could see both working. My favourite is the Dodge Charger, mainly because I can see on the nose and the way this car is put together that the red light would fit really nicely. They'll probably do it a little bit differently to the Pontiac. Obviously LEDs and stuff are way cooler now, so they can do something that's, a little bit cooler looking. Even though that's cool. I would though really emphasize to them that simple is better. Do we all know the Knight Rider Reborn thing that they did when their fins and crap came out? Go simple. This should be a car that still looks right as well on the street, and the Dodge Charger EV will look very cool. And these are apparently the two cars that are currently being looked at. But why do I say that it's going to be a bit more complicated than that? They're going to want to deal with the car company. They're going to want basically a sponsorship deal. So it really depends on which one of these two companies are willing to basically give the production a couple of free cars. Remembering, these are going to be best part of 100 grand each. So they're going to want to get probably 3 or 4 of them, and they're going to probably want to get them for free. That will really depend on which production company is keenest to get on this and to become, well, if the film does even remotely well, and then the series and stuff that I've been told will follow it, it becomes iconic. And the Pontiac Firebird is iconic for this reason. So, it's a risk. The Knight Rider movie idea has been bouncing around for years and never got to happen. I think, and what I'm being told is this will happen. It's already pretty much been greenlit. They're just trying to figure out the story, etc., and actually start working on a script and things. I'm actually told the script's virtually done, but there's a lot of things to get in a row, and as I said, they're aiming for the Netflix deal. So they may not rush to get into production, to be honest. I think whichever car company is willing to take that risk and to really work with the production team, I think they could do really, really well. And I'm really hoping it's Dodge. I just think that's the car that fits better for me. But guys, get into the comments on what you think. Which one of these cars would you pick? I do think it's got to be American. It's got to be an American car. So are there any other ideas that you've got? Even something that's in production now that they could jazz up or something? Get in the comments and tell me exactly what you think. Also, get into the comments and tell me what you think about this idea of this 1980s crossover thing. I think this is an idea that I really love. I think it's something that they could really build up and give us exciting projects, something we would really look forward to. And I think it's Universal using an IP that, or three IPs really, that they've failed to use very well for a very long time. Nostalgia is always popular. Spaceballs 2 is on its way, and look, that's our generation getting excited about that, not the youngsters. But I think this is the sort of project as well that will inspire and excite an entire new generation of fans, not just us 40-somethings that will be very overexcited about this project. They're bringing back He-Man, for example. That's us lot they're going to get excited about that as well. But nostalgia is really popular. Remakes have always been really popular. I'm actually told this is going to be kind of a continuation rather than a remake, by the way. So that's interesting as well. Get into the comments though and tell me exactly what you think about this project, as I know you will. And I guarantee you there will be people in there going, electric. But that's just the way it's going to be, I'm afraid. I can't wait to see what they do with Airwolf. That'd be so cool. Guys, get into the comments and tell me what you think. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. It really helps us out, and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can become a member of the channel and get to see a lot of these videos way before everybody else. Go check that out too. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.